Think about how the weather has changed since you were a child. Has it gotten hotter, maybe colder? Maybe you've noticed more snow in the winter or more scorching temperatures in the summer. These are all a direct cause of climate change. Unfortunately, with the direct results of climate change today, you could end up going through a natural disaster. If you've ever seen a wildfire or a flood and thought how lucky you were that it wasn't you, then you might be in for a shock. At the rate climate change is happening, it could very well end up being you. That's why it's so important to start taking action now. As someone who's experienced more scorching summers with increased power outages and storms as a result, I have seen the direct effects of climate change and the negative impact on not only myself, but others around me as well. I couldn't bear for these effects to get any worse. Climate change is a social problem that can be remedied, partly and in a God-honoring way, by an increase in reducing waste, reusing items, and recycling by each individual person. I will validate this statement by discussing how climate change is contributing to many natural disasters on the Earth, which is only getting worse, and propose the solution of the Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle initiative, so as a way to honor God and take care of this beautiful Earth that God created. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at this important topic. My first point is that climate change is contributing to many natural disasters on the Earth, and it's only getting worse, as can be seen here in this picture. The reality of it is, according to Salborn and Ebi, there is really no such thing as a purely natural disaster. The research and the policy communities agree that hazard, exposure, vulnerability, disaster risk, and adaptation are fundamentally socially constructed. In simpler terms, all of these natural disasters that occur are not actually natural. They're a result of social choices and actions taken by people. Precipitation factors are one of the more prominent effects of climate change as well, or more specifically global warming. With the combination of increasing temperatures, there is an increase in atmospheric moisture, which is also known as evaporation, and that results in an increase in precipitation. And of course, as you already know, more rain does mean more flooding. On the other hand, for those who experience, or don't experience flooding, but rather experience drought, that is definitely a big concern. As a direct result of extreme temperatures, heat waves, and said drought, the risk of wildfires also greatly increases. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, global temperatures alone rose about 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit from 1901 to 2020. Surveys show that most Americans believe climate change poses a serious risk, but that reducing greenhouse emissions can be deferred until there is more evidence about the harmful effects of climate change. In fact, U.S. policymakers likewise argue it is prudent to wait and see whether climate change will cause substantial economic harm before undertaking policies to reduce emission, as Sturman and Booth-Sweeney said. Therefore, this wait-and-see attitude that so many people possess is contributing to the continual negative effects of climate change. This brings me to my second and my final point. The solution to the problem of climate change is to begin with a simple Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle initiative, so that you can properly take care of and honor this earth that God created. First of all, let's examine this idea according to Rossing, that God laments with the world in this crisis, crying out on behalf of the earth and its communities against imperial oppressors. God never wanted this for us while we were living out our days here on earth. Now this is evidenced by Jeremiah 2:7, which says, I brought you into a fertile land to eat its fruit and rich produce, but you came and defiled my land and made my inheritance detestable. Furthermore, God created this earth for us to enjoy. He wanted us to be able to rule over the land and treasure the many natural gifts He bestowed upon us. And He wants us to also utilize them, according to Genesis 1:26. Continuing on, Numbers 35:33-34 talks about not polluting the land, which is exactly what we are doing. And as a result, we are directly contributing to this climate change, which is only harming the land more. And this brings me to my conclusion. We can see how climate change is a social problem here on Earth. Not only is climate change controlling the contributing to natural disasters, but it's gradually getting worse as time goes on. The solution to this problem is the simple Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle initiative, so that we can honor God and promote this wonderful Earth that He created for us. I strongly encourage you to analyze your current habits and whether you reduce, reuse, recycle, and make achievable and realistic goals for each and every day to improve in one of those areas, so that you may honor God by taking care of this beautiful earth. Thank you.